Hi, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to fold a napkin for paper snowflakes and also how different patterns affect the way this finished snowflake looks. And we're just going to go ahead and essentially folds 1 and 2 have already been made, and we're just going to be focusing on this corner where all the folds come together. This is the corner that we're going to be folding into 3 parts. So we're just going to go ahead and take our pattern. I'm going to slide it up just slightly from the center because the napkin is such a thick material. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to leave a little bit of an edge here. I'm going to bring it quite up to the edge of the pattern, again to accommodate for the thickness of the material. The napkin is a little bit more than 12 layers. It's probably closer to 24 layers. It's probably a 2-ply napkin. So we're going to make sure that we have plenty of room there to accommodate the extra layers. And then we're going to go ahead, and this side has the 2 folds, you can see, and we're going to bring up that side and tuck it into the fold that we just made. Just tuck it right there into that crease. And then we're going to refold. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to position this on top of the folded napkin, and we are going to need to leave kind of an exaggerated border because that extra thickness of the napkin is going to cause us to lose quite a bit of detail. So we're going to go ahead, put it about that far from the edge. And now I'm not even going to worry about the center piece. Partly because I want to make sure that the plaid design is in the center, and partly because it will show how difficult it was to fold. That center always kind of tattletales on how well the folding is, so I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm going to go ahead and just start by cutting in. I'm going to follow the same angle that's here from this piece of the pattern and just cut in here and cut away the shaded area. And when I get up here to the top, I'm going to do the same thing as I did at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and just extend the pattern at that same angle, just right off the edge. Okay, and then here at the top, I'm going to adjust the pattern as well. I'm just going to come in right here at what would be the top of the pattern, and I'm going to make this a little bit wider. You could use a pencil to draw that line if you wanted to, or you can just freehand like I'm going to. You can see I'm just going to make it just a little bit wider. And then on this other side, I'm just going to do the same thing where I'm going to start up here at the top, what would be the top of the pattern, and I'm just going to come straight down here along this side. Not going to make this piece wider. I'm just going to follow the pattern here. And then carefully, I'm going to make sure all those layers come apart. Never want to tear, but it can be kind of tricky when there's this many layers, whether or not they're just stuck on each other or whether you actually got all the way through. So we're just gonna very patiently, looks like I need to come in from this side. There we go. Never want to pull because you might tear it apart. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead. You can kind of hear it's almost Velcro-y as it comes apart, just the nature of the material that we're using. So very carefully, it does have a tendency to catch on itself and rip. So for beginners, I always suggest you use newspaper or something that's about a newspaper thickness. It's just easier on your hands to cut through, and it tends not to stick together when you're unfolding, and it also tends not to slide as you're cutting. So that's kind of the ideal material to use. But as you progress in your skills, it's fun to have challenges, and of course sometimes there's just a material that you want to try because you like the look of it. So there's that one. And then we're gonna go ahead and we'll just do the same pattern. Put on a piece of wrapping paper. And this wrapping paper is a little bit thicker than I normally use. But I picked it for the pattern. You can see the squares are quite a bit larger than the napkin. But this way we can kind of compare what a similar pattern would look like. And we're just gonna go ahead. This one has quite a glossy finish and it's pretty hard to cut through. So picking your material does make a difference in how easy it will be to complete. Just keep that in mind as you have beginners with you. If you're wanting to focus on scissor skills, you're probably going to want to pick material that will not frustrate them. And then because I want to kind of showcase the plaid design, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did and just make it a little bit wider. Again, I ignored the center because I want to focus on the plaid design. You can always change the patterns just depending on you and what you're choosing to focus on, or if you want to add more to it, take away from it. It's completely up to you. And again, we're kind of have a layer or two that didn't quite go all the way through. Let's do a little teeny. It's this back layer that didn't go all the way through. Let's see what we need to do here. Surprisingly, this wrapping paper was harder to cut than the 24 layers of napkin, even though this is only 12 layers. Okay. Go ahead and unfold it so we can compare and you can see how it turned out. It's much easier to unfold. And there we go. Thank you for watching.